Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kia Simone, and we got to get into episode 3 of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Before we do, y'all, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you've not already. Of course, I got to shout out my supporters. Shout out on Cash App to Lorenzo Malone and on Super Thanks to Yvette Greer, my day ones. Thank y'all. I love y'all so much. But let's go ahead and get into this episode. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I just sat down and watched this episode, and I am confused at the conflict. I do not know what's going on and why they got so much damn beef. Everybody mad as hell, and I don't know why, but let's just get into it. So y'all know the episode opens up with us catching up on, whatever they got going on. We see Angel at home with her husband, and they're discussing their home shopping budget, and they're negotiating that it should be somewhere between maybe $5 to $7 million. All right then. Ashley at the damn gym competing with everybody, but it's just something about other people being in the class that I just have to be the strongest, the fastest, the best. We know you compete with every fucking body. It's called insecurity. Then we see Stacy. Stacy got her baby at a modeling class. Now the baby in there trying to learn to walk, trying to learn to model. Here goes Stacy off to the side. But let me just show you how to do it. Because see, I know this. I got this. And she got to get up and demonstrate that she has the perfect model walk. Now, if you ask me, it was a little swingy in the hips. But I mean, okay. And I'm going to tell you, it put me in the mind of an experience that I had back when I used to sell shoes. That there was a young lady who was in a pageant. I think she was running for Miss South Carolina or something like that. Well, she comes in, she's shopping for shoes. And of course, she wants to make sure that she can walk in these shoes. So I'm helping her with walking in the shoes and showing her the difference in walking from your core versus your knees. And here come the mama. But I can do that. I can do it too. And she just a stomping through the damn shoe department trying to prove to us that she could have been a model too if her daughter hadn't come fucked up her life and her mama ain't perm her hair when she was 6. Don't be that mama. Just please. Let the baby have their moment. And if you want to take a moment when y'all get home and say, let's practice your walking and let me show you what mom knows and let me show you what I've learned over the years. But don't hijack the moment and don't make it about, look at how good I am at what you're trying to learn. We know you know. You the OG. You supposed to know. Let the baby learn in peace. So the first real scene of the episode is Kay and Wendy are meeting down at the boardwalk, the river walk, somewhere by some damn water so they can talk and discuss whatever issue they're having within their friendship. Well, Wendy walks up and listen, I understand that Wendy is going through it right now with the whole fraud allegations and people is all up and through their business, all up and through their pockets and their closet and every damn thing else. And I'm not trying to exploit that moment, but I just would like to know what the fuck Wendy got on. Why does Wendy have on that Easter after party suit going down to meet this girl down to the damn river? I mean, it's literally some sateen blazer with some diaper cut shorts. What the fuck you got on? So Kay kicked off the conversation by explaining to Wendy that she felt like them coming to the river or basically being outside of a party setting might be better for them to try to have the conversation and come to some sort of resolution about what's going on within their friendship. Well, Kay is saying in the confessional that she feels like Wendy only wants a TV friend. That Wendy is one way with her on camera and a different way with her off camera, and across the board it comes across phony. So Kay starts the conversation by bringing up some event that's local to the area called Preakness. I guess it's Maryland's version of like a Kentucky Derby. I do not know. I'm not familiar with it. I've never heard of it. I don't know. Apparently there are events surrounding this event. And Kay is asking Wendy if she's going to Preakness. And Wendy said, yeah, she is going. So Kay then mentions that Kay has planned some event for Preakness that she's done all the legwork for, and she's asking Wendy, do you want to collaborate and do an event together, or do you want to do 2 separate events? Wendy looking at her like she crazy. Wendy said, I don't know what you talking about collaborating. You done did the legwork, but you supposed to be hosting an event because I did my own legwork, and the actual First Lady of Maryland and her team reached out to me and asked me to host an event. So if I'm gonna collaborate with any damn body, it's gonna be them. I don't know what you got going on. You can throw your little party by yourself. And Kay is saying, well, you can host your little thing. You can host your little party. And Wendy is saying, I don't get why it's an issue. And personally, I don't understand either. And that's coming from me, who thinks Wendy is probably one of the most condescending people I have ever seen in my life. I don't understand what Kay's issue is with Wendy being attached to an event because Kay decided to plan an event around the same event and Wendy ain't doing the damn event with her. Why is you mad? Now, they don't go any further to explain what the issue is in the confessional, but they both in the confessional talking shit. Wendy is in the confessional saying how, she's explaining what the event is and saying how she was invited by the first lady herself, so I don't know what Kay is over there talking about, and I ain't got nothing to do with whatever she planning. And Kay is in the confessional talking about how Wendy is over there being all territorial about, well, it's my event, I planned this event, and I was invited by the first lady, and okay, well, girl, have it. Like, what? I am so fucking lost. My thing is, I get calling Wendy on her shit. I get calling her out being fake and phony and two-faced and not trustworthy and whatever else. I get that. But what this is giving is that Kay is having a hard time nailing Wendy to the cross. And because she's having a hard time really nailing her down, it's pissing her off and it's causing her to attack Wendy over every little thing that irritates her. But when you do that, you become the aggressor. So now Wendy is sitting there just as stoic and stuck up, and you look like the absolute nut who is trying to start an issue with her. It looks like you're looking for a problem. So since this conversation seems to only be exacerbating their issue, it seems to just be getting worse, Kay said, you know what, let's talk about the real issue between us. So she brought up the conversation that they had at Ashley's second Bloom Ball or whatever it was called. And she's saying how she feels like Wendy is very condescending. And Wendy said, well, my issue is I feel like the issue that you brought to me at Ashley's party is very juvenile. When Wendy called Kay's issue juvenile, Kay said false. Wendy said, well, you can say false, but I'm just telling you how I feel. Wendy goes on to say, so I just want you to understand that in that moment, I saw red flags in you as a friend. Wait a minute. And I was just trying to navigate them because I was trying to get to know you better. Kay said, well, same. Wendy said, but when I sat back and thought about it, I said, well, damn, she don't call me. This girl does not reach out to me like that. And I was the person who had her back. She said when Ashley was coming after you last season, talking about how you started your business from drug dealer money, it was me that came behind you and hugged you and wiped your tears and told you to ignore these bitches. Wendy said, that's the friend I've been to you. Kay said, yes, you were there in that moment. But what you do is you align yourself in these moments and opportunities that make you look like a good friend in front of other people. But then in private, I expected more from my friendship with you. And here's the thing, I believe that. I believe that because of a pattern that we've seen with Wendy where, especially with the whole Wendy-Mia beef, this is where Wendy completely lost me. Wendy will publicly beef with a bitch. She publicly has the deepest drama with Mia. But then when the cameras go down, you somewhere in a hotel room with this bitch letting her play with your speaker box love below. Wendy carried on about colorism and this, that, and the third, only to find out that she down to the hotel with the bitches that she's calling colorists, letting them play in her coloring book with their crayons. Wendy does not strike me as a genuine person. She strikes me more than anything as an opportunist. And she comes off as though if this relationship and whatever proximity she has to you does not offer her some benefit, then you are of no value to her, and she treats you as such. That's how she comes off. I believe Kay when Kay says you position yourself to look good in front of cameras and to look good in front of other people, but then when there is nobody to see you perform, you a whole different person. It's essentially the same dynamic as people who want to love you in private but disparage you in public, where they gonna talk cash about you to anybody who will listen, but they don't want them people to know that in reality, they somewhere in secret trying to be your friend, trying to get next to you. They can't congratulate you or support you or encourage you publicly because they done talk too bad about you publicly, and people gonna see them being in your face and in your corner and in your likes and trying to support you and encourage you. And they gonna say, well, hold on now, because you told us that change and you told us you don't fuck with that bitch. And now you down to her comments and shit, trying to pretend like you love her so damn much. It's that same dynamic. And I get why Kay feels the way that she does, but the way that Kay is going about it, Kay look crazy as fuck. You look crazy. So they start going back and forth about how they've had each other's backs and they blindly supported each other. And Kay is saying how she doesn't feel like she can be her authentic self with Wendy, even though she assumed Wendy to be her friend. She brought up how Wendy was very dismissive and nonchalant with her at the event when she was talking to Giselle. Wendy is saying, but it was Giselle's conversation and you interjected yourself. Kay starts screaming about, you don't even like her. Wendy is screaming back at Kay that you don't like her. And they just going back and forth screaming at each other about they don't like Giselle. Wendy mentioned something in their conversation about that whole interaction with Giselle was my conversation with Giselle. I no longer understand what the issue between you and I is. And Kay said, well, you know, here's what you do. The Wendy that I know is very excited about me when I talk to her on the phone in private, but it seems to only be centered around the show. Wendy started laughing in the damn lady face. And that's one of the things that irritates the shit out of me about Wendy. The way that Wendy sat up and laughed in that lady's face. Wendy took absolutely no accountability at any point in the conversation for how she has showed up as a friend. As a matter of fact, she took every complaint that Kay has about her and flipped it back on Kay and then laughed in the lady's face. And Wendy is saying in the confessional that she doesn't know what to do with this issue that Kay is bringing to her because the level of hand-holding that Kay requires for a friendship is beyond where she is as a grown-ass woman. Well, then say that. If you're really the grown-ass woman that you claim to be, if you really are the same person all the time, and if you're not sending mixed signals, and you're not phony and pretending with people only for the time that you need them, then say that to her face. Say to her, you need a little too much from me. I'm real grown. I am emotionally independent. I don't need the kind of hand-holding and connectivity that you seem to need in order to solidify a friendship. I'm the kind of friend I can talk to you once every damn 3 months. We can catch up from where we left off the last time and I'm all right. You don't seem to fit in that category. That doesn't seem to be okay with you. And what you need is a little more than I can give. But instead of saying that, you just laugh in the damn lady's face like Wendy is condescending and disrespectful, and she's the type that you got to curse her out real good one good time. I mean, make her mad enough to go down to that damn altar. You got to curse her clean the fuck out for her to understand not to play with you. The same way she snapped on Robin and was telling Robin how her life gonna fall apart because you a fucked up person and all this, the same way she came up out that bag, you have to come up out a bag on Wendy. And as Wendy is laughing in Kay's face, Kay says, stop that. Stop doing weak stuff like that. And the girl laughed harder in her face. Kay said, this is all I needed. That big fake laugh, her sitting up laughing in my face, being fake as fuck, that's all I needed. It confirmed everything I said. Next thing you know, you know what? Let's just take a break. Let's wrap it up. Let's go. And they laughing and hugging and stumbling down the boardwalk. What in the entire fuck is going on? So we move on and we go to Angel and Bobby's house where we get to meet more of their family. They're at home, I guess, having breakfast, planning breakfast or something. And we meet Angel's mother-in-law, Bobby's mom, and Angel's dad. And we find out that Angel's mom passed away about 10 years ago. And her dad is sitting in there telling them boogly stories that I like. And he's talking about how, I guess, the mama had certain rules when she was alive. And he think he ain't got to live by them rules because she gone. And she had to show him something one time. And Angel was telling the story about how, I guess, she went home to visit her dad. And her mom had always had a rule that people could not wear shoes inside her house on her rugs or on her carpet. And the daddy said, well, she ain't here no more, so we can do what we want to. They walked in that lady's house with their shoes on her damn rugs. They said wasn't a window open, wasn't a ceiling fan swinging. All the papers went flying off the desk. Angel says, so now she believes her mama is here. She believes that her mother is somewhere right around these parts protecting her to the best of her ability. And speaking of raising hell for playing with me and disrespecting me all kinds of ways, Angel brought up that she is still bothered by what Giselle shared with her about Kay saying that she had to chin check the situation. She said because the language is so aggressive. We know people just be saying stuff sometimes, but you can't be telling black people you chin check them because we want to know who whooped my ass. So we move on and we see Stacy going to lunch with Jazzy, who was on last season. Now, I don't know if she's a friend of the show this season. I know she ain't on the cast this damn season. But they go out to lunch and they're catching up and they're talking about how great their friendship is and how they're so happy that Mia ghosted them when they went to Miami for her birthday because that was the birth of this friendship and yada, yada, yada. Well, Stacy took this opportunity to drag them bitches the way they be dragging her. She said, yeah, they all up in my business about what's going on between me and my man. Well, Shantae ain't the only one got a damn man. Giselle around here sneaking around with some damn man that she don't want no damn body to know about, but I got receipts and we gonna find out what the bitch bought. Child, before Stacy got to showing us the receipts, she and Jazzy were talking about the whole situation of her and her husband splitting up and how the ladies are harassing her about it. And she's saying, you know, they're just not supportive. Jazzy is saying, well, girl, my grandparents got divorced for about 6 months and got back together and married for a total of 60 damn years. I mean, and honestly, I have heard that it's far more common to see people get divorced and get remarried than people even realize. I saw a post, now I don't know how real it was, but I saw a post the other day where it was an older couple in court. These people showed up to divorce court in matching outfits. They say the judge sent them home to come back when you serious. I ain't got time for this bullshit. And listen, my personal rule for myself is typically I don't double back because I've done the spin the block thing and that just don't never work. It don't never work. It don't never work. 0 out of 10 stars. Do not recommend. I wouldn't spend the damn bottle. I'm not even playing with you. I don't recommend that shit. But when you get married, like marriage is a little bit different. Yeah, and you know, listen, sometimes the problem is you don't be married to the right motherfucker. That be the problem. So y'all can learn all kind of coping mechanisms and go to 10 different therapies, but if it's the wrong motherfucker, it's the wrong motherfucker. If you are married to the right motherfucker and y'all just going through some things, that's just the nature of relationships sometimes. And I wouldn't give a fuck when nobody outside my marriage license got to say about how I choose to manage my marriage. And me and this man put each other out like old furniture every other damn month. That's our damn business. It's nobody's business. If the married people decide they want to work that shit out and get back together, that's the married people business. Go mind your own. And that's what Stacy said. Stacy said, now the bad of marriage supposed to be undefiled and people supposed to be able to get back with their husbands or work shit out. And didn't Giselle had tried to get back with her ex-husband Jamal after we know he been Johnny Appleseed all up and through the motherfucking church? Wasn't she trying to get back with her husband? And I'm so problematic for trying to get back with mine. She said, but that's all right. I got something for that ass. And that's when she went to pulling out receipts. This lady got pictures of Giselle on a date with some random ass man that we ain't heard nothing about while she down at this damn TV show stirring up all kinds of drama, stomping through her house, belly diving on the beds, but ain't nothing going on. I ain't got nothing going on in my life. Let's get into somebody else's business. I think it should be mandatory that when these people come on these damn TV shows that are supposed to be reality shows about their life, that they have to show their damn life. Now, I get that. I guess Giselle has some sort of special privileges in terms of production. I don't know. I don't be watching the credits. She may even be listed as a producer. I've heard people say in the past that Giselle is a producer. And I don't know if that's just because she stirs up like a producer. I don't know. But I don't think it's fair that they get knee deep in the other people's business while Giselle and Ashley and used to be Robin get to just hide they shit and sweep it under a rug, and we got to pretend like we can't see all the shit going on. We can see y'all. So I personally love that Stacey got all her evidence and receipts that she is presenting to the damn public. Yeah, we about to get all up in your business. Since y'all knee deep in mine, let's get all the way down in yours. Come on, let's get into it. And Stacey said in the confessional that I find it very interesting that Giselle is calling me a phony and a fake when she is the one faking her damn life, when she is the one hiding everything she got going on from the cameras. And I would just like to say that I think production knows. I think production knows everything she got going on, and I think they are complicit in helping her hide it from the public. Y'all can all go to hell. So we move on to Tia's house, where she is at home being a mom to her 4 children. She is home managing teenage attitudes, hormones, and personalities. Girl, God bless you. And she's saying how even though she grew up in England, she was very much raised under Nigerian principles. She had a mama that didn't play that shit. She said, for example, if I was told to wash the dishes and I didn't wash the dishes, my mama came home and them dishes was in the sink, my mom would put them dishes in my bed. She said, that's my approach to parenting. She said her husband liked to sit down and talk to the children, but he don't be getting very much progress. She said her approach is to go ape shit crazy. She said you got to let them know you a little crazy and you capable of any damn thing. She said that's how I be getting shit done. Yeah. So her and her husband decide they're going outside to have an executive meeting about raising these damn people. This getting to be a lot. So they go outside and they're talking about, their careers and their approach to parenting. And Tia's saying how she just doesn't feel like there's enough time in her day to get everything done that she needs to get done. And she explains how when her children were smaller, she was a stay-at-home mom like her mom was. She said it was really important to her to be able to be at home and be hands-on until they got big enough to go to school. And she decided I wanted to go back into the workforce because I want to do something with myself for myself. And she's explaining how she did most of the heavy lifting in terms of the children when they were smaller, but now that they're bigger and she's back into her career, her husband is a little more hands-on and he helps more. And she's telling him how she feels like, for the most part, he's been very supportive, with the exception of one day she went out, she was gone all day. She said, I came home to all y'all sitting around waiting on me to make a meal. She said she about lost her shit, and I understand. You mean to tell me ain't nobody thought to burn up some bread and cheese, make them a grilled cheese, stir up some egg and rice? You must have been waiting on me all day? But her husband had to tell her, before you go off the deep end, baby, I work too. He said, I get up at 6:30 every damn morning, and I do whatever I got to do before I go off to work. So it ain't like I'm just rubbing my damn feet together while you being Cinderella around this bitch. She said, well, I got a solution to the problem. How about we teach them damn kids to cook? Make them responsible for making a meal once a week. They big enough. And honestly, I agree. I just don't think it's a sustainable family model to expect that you can put all of the heavy lifting off on one person and think that it's all going to balance out. So we move on and we see Giselle, Tia, Angel, and Wendy meeting at some boutique. They going shopping. And Giselle is going to use this gathering as the opportunity to announce their first cash trip of the season. They're going to Nevis. But before they got to the announcement, we saw that Tia got there to meet Giselle first, followed by Angel. When Angel came in, they brought up her Truth and Tranquility event. And Tia saying something like she was the only person wearing actual yoga pants or yoga clothes or whatever. Giselle, of all damn people, says, yeah, whatever you had on, it just wasn't stylish. Tia said, I know you ain't the one telling. You want to tell me about style? Giselle tries to shut Tia down about, well, you emailed me, it was some years ago. Tia said, yes, I did. And she explains in the confessional that before she got into real estate or back into real estate, that she was in LA working on celebrity product placement. And when she came back on this side of the country, she said there was so much talk about how Giselle was just the worst dresser that she actually reached out to Giselle and offered to help her. She sent her a DM, but she said Giselle never actually read the DM. And she said that damn DM is a one-way street. Don't come down here talking about who ain't got no damn style. So now while they're talking about Giselle and her terrible style, in comes Wendy in some pastor's mistress outfit. Just what the do you got on? It's truly given a whole nother version of that same damn suit that she had on down to that damn boardwalk with Kay. She comes, it's all white. I guess it's a romper. I don't know if it's satin. I don't know what the material is. It's a blazer on the top and some ruffled shorts on the bottom. It is some weird, overdressed, underdressed, where in the whole hell is you going? And I think Wendy is beautiful. I just don't understand some of that. Like, it gives diaper. Y'all know how back in the day, I don't know if they still sell them because I don't know any little kids to be shopping for this stuff. But you know how you used to be able to buy little girls the frilly dresses and it came with the little ruffled pamper cover that goes under the dress? That's what the damn shorts look like. I don't know. It could be me. It just gave pastor's mistress. The top gives testify. The bottom gives twerk. It's just, what is it? So while they're shopping for the trip and looking around the shop, they got a bunch of ugly ass clothes in it. Angel goes to Wendy and asks her how did the conversation between her and Kay go? And she said, well, it went okay. And Wendy explained how she couldn't really get with whatever Kay's complaints were. She couldn't understand where she was coming from. And the ladies brought up how Kay said Wendy came up to her on this red carpet and said, did you do your own makeup? And Tia said, now, Wendy, that's not nice. That doesn't sound nice. Wendy said, well, that's because you're making it not sound nice. Tia said, well, I'm saying it the way that she said it to me. And Tia tried to play it off and said, well, let me say it in my American accent. And she, repeated it. And they all just kind of laughed it off. But Wendy is a wild motherfucking person to me. Because you walk up to somebody and say some shady bullshit, like, ooh, did you do your own makeup? And you can't even, and talking to other people about it, you can't even take accountability for this shit. You just, well, it sounds bad because you're making it sound bad. Well, make it sound good. I don't care what tone, language, or accent you ask it in. How do you make, did you do your own makeup? How do you make that sound good? So Giselle said, well, are we going to have an issue at the Preakness event? And Wendy said, well, if there is one, it'll be from Kay. It won't be from me. And it'll be just another tile in the mosaic of her being a bad friend to me. Just, this is some bullshit. So Giselle goes on to ask Angel about the state of her friendship with Kay. And she said, we're good, but Kay doubled back after my event and told me she never said anything about chin checking me. They said, wait a minute now, because we was there when she initially said she didn't say that. And then we told her she did say that. And she came back and took ownership for saying that. So you saying she came back again after everybody left and said everybody's a damn lie and she never said that? Angel said, that's exactly what I'm saying. So they are all completely taken aback. Like, what do you mean the girl doubled back and called us all some damn liars? Angel said, well, Kay said she looked back and she didn't say that. And I'm going to tell y'all that if she did say that, it's going to be a real problem, because I don't appreciate her using such aggressive language in regard to our friendship, because I would never refer to anything in our friendship using that level of language. And Angel goes on to say another reason that she finds it to be highly aggressive is because of what Kay experienced in terms of her own chin check a few years ago. So I find it very odd that she would be telling anybody that she had to chin check anything in our friendship when she's been crying and carrying on about somebody chin checked her. So we move on and we go to Kay's house, where she is planning or having a brunch for all the ladies before this Preakness event. And we see Greg come out the room. She called him to come out and see if he liked everything. And he come out like, oh, I like the sunflowers. And she said something about, I think my mama is downstairs. Can you go get her? Yes, I'll go grab her. But I tell you, he is trying to be on his best behavior. This shit tickles me. And I think it's because the way he sounds, he sounds exactly like the older guy. I told you about the older guy I used to date. When I tell you, he would talk like that for his own entertainment, especially when he's trying to let you know that I'm trying to act like I got some damn sense right now. When I tell you, shit is hilarious to me. He done acted a complete ass last season. That motherfucker tried to cooperate so damn hard. So the first guest to arrive at Kiana's brunch is Stacy. Well, Stacy gets there and she's being introduced to Kay's mom and telling Kay how much she loves her condo. This is beautiful. And then she sees Greg. She said, oh, here's my chance. Since these bitches all up in my damn business, let me get knee deep in theirs. So she goes over to Greg and she starts asking him, where does he stay? Do you live here? He said, well, I mean, kind of something like that. I'm kind of back and forth. We are back and forth. Sometimes I stay here. Sometimes I stay at the house. But I'm here a lot of the times. Wherever I'm where she at. Stacy in the confessional saying, I'm just trying to follow the lie. I'm trying to follow the damn story they're telling us. Because the last I heard, she was broke up with the man and moving on with her life. Now, we coming to new damn apartments and shit. The man coming up out the room. And the last I heard, he was on the curb. You see, Stacy know how to play the game. I'm going to let you bitches get y'all one off. And y'all better get it off. Because when I tell you ain't going to be no fun when this rabbit get the gun. So we see the other ladies arriving at Kay's home. We see Ashley get there, followed by Giselle. Child, Kay got in the confessional and tore Giselle in her outfit to shreds. She said, why the fuck do you have that on? But Giselle got on some two-piece outfit with some fascinator and a crinkly wig. I just love it. Then we see Tia arrive, followed by Wendy. Wendy says she doesn't have any problem attending Kay's brunch, even though their friendship is going through something right now. She says she likes pre-gaming. She likes a little nosh before the main event. Her event. Girl, go sit down. And you know, it could be me. I could be tripping. I could be reading too much into it. And it could be the way that they have it edited. But is it me? Or did Wendy show up to Kay's house and sashay past Kay mama at the door like she was the help? I don't know. That's what it looked like. Kay's mom is answering the door for all the guests and greeting everybody when they come. And the way they made it look, and I'm going to tell you why it stands out to me, is when Wendy comes in, it looks like Wendy just comes sashaying through the door, don't greet the lady mama, just sashay straight past her. And then the very next person to arrive is Angel. And they show Angel come in and she stops and hugs Kay's mom. And you can see her taking her time to kind of come in the door and kind of see what's going on. Now, it could be me. I could be reading too much into it. But that's what it looked like. It really looked like Wendy came stomping in there and sashaying past that girl mama like she's the help. And then when Angel gets there, Angel comes walking in, and Giselle is asking about what's going on with Angel's boobs, because she did have a lot of cleavage up. I mean, them her titties. If she want them out, that's her business. And don't that girl have a 1-year-old baby? Like, she had a baby a year or so ago. Like, what the fuck? Listen, I be trying to not drag these bitches like they need to be dragged, but it's something about a bitch dragging a bitch when she don't have no right to be dragging a bitch that just calls out the drag in me. Giselle like to run around talking about how, yeah, I got a tummy tuck because I had twins. Giselle looked like her tummy tuck still hurt. Like, please. It's always a bitch that done gone laid up under Edward Scissorhands. Let them cut you the fuck up. They got something to say about another woman's body. Mind your business. And the thing is, in the confessional, when Giselle is making the comment about Angel's titties, and I don't know what's going on with her titties, Giselle has the same amount of cleavage showing in the dress that she's wearing. You just ain't got no titties. I mean, I ain't saying she got nothing. I don't know what she bought and put in her chest, but she ain't got what Angel got. You have one. I mean, it's the same exact cut. It's the same amount of cleavage. Angel got that work. So now after Angel arrives and she sits down and all the ladies are sitting around the table and they're having whatever snacks, hors d'oeuvres, food, whatever they're eating. They're sitting around the table and Giselle is asking how they ended up at Kiana's house to pregame when the event that they're going to is actually being hosted by Wendy. And Kay said something about, well, you know, Wendy likes to be first, better, best. What? Wendy said, I think it's very awkward that there's this constant desire to have an issue with me, and it is giving obsessed. Like, what? And Stacy asked, what does that even mean? Kay said, Wendy likes to be first, better, best. And Stacy said, well, how is she being competitive in this particular moment? And Kay goes to explain, and she's saying something about, she said, in this moment, and we're enjoying the pregame, we're enjoying this moment right now. And I don't know if production cut her off. I don't know if she didn't finish her thought. I don't know if what she's getting at is Wendy. I don't know if Wendy alluded to something about the actual main event and that being the big event, and that's where the first, better, best is coming from, because she's saying that her event is better and it's best, and I do not understand. And I wish they would have asked her to elaborate, because what are you talking about? Wendy goes on to say, you have these pre-rehearsed lines that you want to say, and it just seems so odd to me. Kay said, no, what it is you come in with your whole professor attitude. Wendy said, and you speaking to my profession seems like it bothers you because you're insecure about yours. Well, damn. Now, see, this is probably where a bitch like me would have got a little bit nasty. I'd have had to get a little bit deep on the bitch. But this is also before they know that she got them pending fraud charges and before she had to give up her job. Because see, I'd have been asking them about what happened to that last motherfucking job while you trying to throw that professorship in my face, and you want to tell us that you resigned for your career as a Bravo celebrity. Girl, please. Well, this conversation is clearly going left, so they decide to reel it in, but not before Giselle can throw her bait back out there. She said, well, Wendy might not be with the bullshit, but Angel might be. And she brought up that Angel came back and told us that you went back and told her that I'm a damn lie. And Giselle kind of tried to clean it up and say that she ain't trying to start no shit. She just wants to clear her name. She said, because for you to go back and tell her that you never said that after you confessed to saying that means that I'm a liar and I didn't lie. And Angel speaks up to say, well, I'm not calling Giselle a liar, but I have known Kay for a very long time. And I have a hard time believing that she would use that kind of language in regard to our friendship. And she said, I didn't think she would use those words to refer to me, because I get that to you guys, it's not a big deal, but to me, it's overly aggressive. Kay said, so you took offense to the phrase chin check? And she said, yes, I did. Kay said, okay, received. And Kay goes on to say, well, just to be clear, Angel, yes, I said it. I own it and I apologize for it. And Angel spoke up to say, and likewise, I apologize if you felt like I didn't have your back. For the record, so that you always know I always have your back. Now, Giselle sitting there looking just as confused, and Wendy spoke up to say to Angel that the energy that she has now is completely different than the energy that you had at the store. Wendy said, when we were at the shop, you were saying how you were so upset, you were so hurt that we don't use those words. You said those were fighting words, and Tia and Giselle in the back, like, hey man, yes, she sure did. You did say that. And Wendy's so motherfucking messy. Wendy said you even went on to say, given what Kay has experienced in this group 2 years ago that she shouldn't be saying shit like that. So Wendy goes on to say to Angel that your demeanor was completely different that day at the shop. And Angel is saying, yeah, it was because I was hurt. And Wendy's in the confessional about, am I in the twilight zone? She said it's almost as if Kay and Angel had a conversation, and Kay did chin check Angel and told her, don't bring me that bullshit or we gonna have a problem. And back at the table in the conversation, Kay says to Angel that you have every right to feel however it is that you feel. And I respect that. I'm going to give you that in good faith as your friend, understanding how this situation and this particular circumstance can be heightened. But I hope that whatever little chat it was that y'all had back there at the stove, I hope that's the last one. Well, all right, she checking bitches. And Giselle is in the confessional saying that if Kay didn't chin check Angel before, she showed chin checked her just now, because that chin just went all the way down. She shut down and shut up. And let me clarify something. Real quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'm hoping I'm gonna help somebody not get themselves hurt. When you see somebody shut down the way that Angel did, it's not always, it's not even typically fear or, oh, she got checked, or, oh, somebody else done big dog the situation. No, sometimes in those moments, what you see is they are inside themselves having an executive meeting. They have called an emergency meeting. And sometimes you got to decide in a split second, am I going to continue to be the person I have worked so hard to be? Or am I going to let who I used to be, who I feel rising up in me, come to the surface and take this shit over? And that's what I think Angel was dealing with. Is I'm a wife and a mother and a successful businesswoman. I have a reputation to maintain. Do I continue to ride my high horse, or do I come down off my chariot and act a motherfucking ass? And show us no sooner than Giselle talked that shit in the damn confessional about who she shut up and shut down and that chin went. She picked her damn face back up and said, "Ho, since y'all want to talk about energy, let's talk." She turned to Wendy and said, "You brought up the fact that I had energy the other day that I didn't bring today." She said, "First of all, it's been 2 days." And Kay interjected to say, "And speaking of energy, do you like this lady? Do you like this lady?" She pointed at Wendy. Wendy over there looking like, I know you motherfucking lie. What is going on? And Angel spoke up to say, I mean, today I'm not feeling it. Stacy said, why don't you like Wendy? And Angel is going on to say, well, you know, I had a great day with Wendy the other day. Wendy said, so now you don't like me? Angel said, no, I don't like this conversation because you're essentially calling me fake by saying that I came with energy the other day that I don't have today. Kay over there hollering about that is what it is to be fake, Angel. Wendy said, but they both agreed with me. Everybody who was there in that moment agreed with me. So do you have this energy for all three of us, or is it just me? Angel said, but they didn't just sit up and say what you just said. Giselle said, but I kind of low-key, yeah, I did, because I agree with what Wendy is saying, so I'm just letting her say it for me. And in the confessional, Wendy is asking, why do you have this much energy toward me for trying to make a point of clarity versus having none for the person who claimed to chin checked you? So now Angel decides she gonna put some straightening on this shit. I'ma chin check the situation. She said, let's use some emotional intelligence, okay? She said, when you find out something, when you initially find out something that hurts and shocks you, you are going to react one way. But then when you have a chance to sleep on it and process it, you react a different way. She said that's the end of it. Wendy said, well, the way that you flipped on me is crazy. That's just like, wow. She said, and wow to you too, Wendy. Well, and honestly, I'm not shocked about this rift. I saw this coming from the door. I think they were trying to play nice. And honestly, and this ain't to be riding Wendy's back, but I feel like when Wendy came in with that whole, oh, I don't know her. Oh, we were never in the same social groups. Or we went to the same school, but no, never the same circles. I knew this shit was going to hit the fan and go all the way left. Well, Giselle tried to reel them heifers back in. She said, look here, we getting ready to go meet the first lady of Maryland. Y'all ain't going to embarrass me all kinds of ways. Pull this shit back together. And K-Man, he said, I know how to fix this. I don't be doing everything right, but I know exactly when to step in. That motherfucker came in with a handful of money. Said, here you go, baby. Yeah, that's how you shut it up. Well, Kay counted up her money and they are off to the races, literally. They go and load up in some damn Sprinter van and they headed down to this event. And on their way to their event, they open a bottle of champagne. They're having drinks. They're doing a toast. And Giselle proposes that she would like to offer a toast to Angel because she said Angel looked upset. Angel said, oh no, I wasn't upset. I was mad. Yeah, I was mad at the motherfucker, but I'm all right. I appreciate you. Thank you. And Giselle messy to the motherfucker about, so you were mad at Wendy? She said, yes, I was. I was mad at Wendy, but I was also just generally mad. Angel's in the confessional saying that she feels misunderstood by this group, and she's also not the type to be seeking validation from anybody, so she ain't going out of her way to be understood by them. And Kay is saying to Angel in the Sprinter van amongst the ladies, she's saying that, she gets her frustration and that sometimes building new friendships can be uncomfortable. And Kay is saying, even in regard to somebody with my type of personality, I speak what people would call candidly. I speak what people would call aggressively. I speak honestly, but it's from a place of love. And she said, Wendy, even when I was speaking on you, when I was going to the ladies, it wasn't just about, I'm trying to drag her name and make you look bad. I wasn't going to them like that. Stacy said, but you came to me like that, girl. Kay said, well, you're a different story. And when it comes to you joining this group, I was excited about you coming into the group. I was going around to the ladies telling them how great I thought you were. Stacy said, well, I find it funny that you claimed that you were so interested in getting to know me when you were having all these different events and you would never invite me. Kay said, Stacy said, that was pretty shitty. Kiana said, well, I mean, she just wasn't on my list. And then she goes on to say, it's just not that deep and I don't care. Stacy said, look at her attitude. She's saying she don't care. And the thing that blows me is that Kay has this big grand issue with Wendy for being dismissive and treating her the way that she is now treating Stacy, like, girl. So Stacy and Kay are going back and forth, and Kay goes to drink her drink in the middle of the argument, and I guess she spills a little on herself. So she's asking for a tissue or a napkin, and I guess they can't find any. And Wendy comes out of nowhere and says, well, if I had on a cotton dress like your friend sitting in front of you, I would let you use my dress to wipe your face. But I mean, I don't have on a cotton dress. So Angel looked at that crazy bitch and said, I mean, but you do have on black. You could use the bottom of them black pants you got on and let her wipe it on that. Wendy said, well, my hem can't reach that far. Yours can. You're a friend of 20 years, right? That's your friend. Give her your dress. What the fuck? You sound Wendy is insane. I'm sorry. So Kay starts telling Wendy to mind your business and fuck off. I mean, she told her to fuck off 3, 4, 5, 10 times. Stacy comes out of nowhere. I don't speak like that. Kay said, yeah, we know because you still got your damn QVC voice on. Clock out, bitch. And the episode is coming to an end as Kay yells out, I'm tired of these hoes, especially the one sitting next to me. And she talking about Stacy. Stacy said, I'm a hoe. Angel says it's okay. It's just a colloquialism. She said, well, I don't want to get chin checked. They looked at that bitch like, you, bitch. Kay said, you got it already. Stacy said, well, I'm sure you're the one to show me. When Ashley got to step in and tell y'all stop, just please stop right now before this go too far, you off the deep end. Ashley said that was an extremely traumatizing and difficult event, and for Stacy to be bringing that up makes me want to chin check the bitch. And it looked like next week is pay week because they still handing out chin checks. It looks like Kay and Jazzy from last season is going to be getting into it and throwing each other mans in their faces. It's going to be a time, but that's it. That's all, and I ain't got no more. Thank y'all so much for coming down here listening to me and letting me get this off my chest. Y'all, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you've not already. And in the meantime, until next time, just like every time, I love you and I mean it. Bye.